This meeting is being recorded.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to day 5 of APH's virtual ExCEL camp. Let's give everyone a moment to get settled, find a comfortable chair or whatever you're getting yourselves ready to do to learn with us today. We're excited to have you on our 5th and final day of learning today. As you're all setting up, I'd just like to remind you all once again that if you have the opportunity to switch your chat to everyone or all panelist attendees, that would be fantastic. That way, everyone in our audience knows what conversations are going on in the chat. My name is Jeff Schwartz again, and I'm with APH Outreach Services. We are so excited to have you here for day 5 of our camp. This week's theme has been STEM Camp on a Deserted Island for grades 4 through 7. But as we've mentioned, anyone's very welcome to join in on the learning. So we're happy to have anyone here who's joining in. At this time, we're going to go ahead and turn things over to our teachers for today. Again, Teacher Veronica and Teacher Trevor, welcome and take it away.
Hi, everybody. This is Teacher Trevor. So excited for our last day together on our deserted island, which I guess isn't so deserted anymore now that we're here. Just wanted to say I'm glad to be here. And Teacher Veronica, would you like to say hi?
I would. Hi, everybody. I'm excited to be back. We survived that shipwrecking yesterday and that hurricane that came and blew us to the island. Today, I have on a bright pink shirt because I'm hoping to be part of the solution that gets us rescued. I'm hoping my bright shirt can get the attention of someone who's out searching for us, maybe overhead in the skies with a plane, or maybe by a boat. So hopefully you have some bright colors on today, and by the time we end class, maybe we'll get rescued. But I'm gonna let Teacher Trevor start off with our icebreaker.
All right. So first thing we're going to think about today. Yeah, George, our ship sank. We all survived, which is a beautiful, wonderful miracle. And we are getting our stuff together on our deserted island, right? So we talked yesterday about wanting to get help, right? So a common phrase you'll hear is SOS. And I'm wondering, does anyone know what that might mean? Save our souls, says Hannah. That's great. And save our souls from Keaton. Great. Any other theories or ideas? Because from what I've read, there's actually more than one reason why it's SOS. And it is a Morse code thing. That's right. Save our ship. I've also heard that one, Natalie.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay, Sasha, because we're going to spend some time talking about what SOS might mean. So, as it turns out, SOS really got started as that Morse code because it has a distinct pattern, right? 3 rapid taps, 3 slow taps, having those distinct patterns really helps distinguish SOS from regular Morse code. And for those of us who may not know, Morse code is how communication used to be done before telephones. So basically you could only communicate through little beeps and little knocks and sounds, and that was the only way you could communicate in an emergency. So that was the original, was the Morse code was SOS. And then with time, it developed into different meanings where now it kind of means save our souls or save our ship. Both of those are correct. And yeah, so that is the origin of SOS. And I'm going to give it back to Teacher Veronica if we want to go over our goals for today.
Yes. Today, while we're stranded on our island, we're going to talk about and summarize ways to determine if a plant is edible, if it's safe to eat. And as always, Teacher Trevor and I are not wilderness experts. These are just guidelines to give you ideas and general rules. Always make sure you know your specific area. If you're going to go hiking, hopefully you never get stranded on an island, to know more about the plants in your area of the world, because we're actually all over the world today watching this video, and especially those of you who are watching on the recording. But we're going to talk about also ways that you can stay safe. Try to say that 3 times fast. Stay safe in the woods or on an island. And we're going to brainstorm ways to come up with ways to attract attention of the rescuers. And while I'm also thinking about it, we're also, one of your goals with ECC is to make sure you know what ICE means. ICE. And I see some questions about the chat box, but first, focus on what I'm asking. What do you think ICE means? If we put that in your cell phone or in a notebook maybe. And we are going to talk about your extension activities with the catapult. Does anyone know the ECC goal that talks about ICE? I'm seeing some yeses. Yes, good. In case of emergency, you want to have that in your phone of who to contact in case there's an emergency. Now, on a deserted island, your cell phone probably won't work, but in real life, which we're all doing, we need to have emergency contacts in our phone. And so those are 3 or 4 of our goals today. And at the end of class, we'll give you a chance to tell us what you built this week and what extension activities you tried, like the catapult or the waterproof container. But for now, I'm going to turn it back to Teacher Trevor, as he has some ideas on getting help and problem solving for attention from the rescuers.
Thank you, Teacher Veronica. Also, I am wearing a bright red shirt today. I know in the wreckage, I was looking for a bright shirt and found one. So let's see. So a big one that is definitely going to help, not only with getting someone's attention to our island, but also for making food, keeping warm, it's going to be fire, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when we talked about water slides and we talked about friction with that, how does starting a fire use friction? Does anyone have any ideas? I'm seeing some hands raised. Let's see. All right, how about George? Do you want to tell us how friction plays a role in starting a fire?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, good. Because the friction's high, it's extremely high, so can do that. It's
Right.
hot water.
Yeah. High friction. When you do a lot of, I think thank you for sharing that, George.
Oh,
'Cause
and also
that's
I put
oh
questions
yeah.
about volcanic island, like if we got straight on a volcano.
You know, that's an interesting thing. If we were on a volcanic island, I bet the smoke from the volcano might
Mm.
make it harder for our smoke to stand out.
Mm-hmm.
But thankfully, we are on a island with just a forest and some beach around the shore. So we don't have to worry
Not one
about
with a
volcanoes.
a
Oh, what was
big,
that, George?
not one with a big volcano getting ready to sizzle.
Oh, we don't want to be on a volcanic island where the volcano's going to sizzle.
No, thank you. But that was a great point about friction, right? So I think a common thing I've seen a lot is friction with rubbing a stick, right?
Mhm.
So it's this idea of having flammable material put into a pile and you rub a stick between your hands. You move your hands left and right around the stick faster and faster, and that generates enough friction to create heat. That energy becomes heat, and that becomes a fire as a result. But friction can also be used not only with rubbing a stick that way, but also I remember we talked about preserving matches in our waterproof container. Friction is used there as well, because when you strike a match against the matchbox, that lights our match, right? And we can put that into our flammable material. So that is all great ways to create a fire. How does a fire attract attention? Like, how we know that it helps us cook our food, but what is it about the fire that, Sasha makes a really good point that the rubbing would take a long time. And um, I'm going to try not to go down too many rabbit holes, but I know in the film Castaway, I'm not sure if other students in the class have seen or heard of that movie, but in the film Castaway, he spends a really long time rubbing that stick into the ground to make fire. And he hurts his hands and gets cuts, and it would be very hard. Yeah. But thankfully, Tom Hanks, that's right, Mitchell. Thankfully, since we are a team on this island, we can take breaks and you can communicate with other members on our survival crew to take turns, right? Thankfully, we're not alone with a volleyball on this island. But like I was saying, so fire gets attention through smoke, right? That's one way that fire gets attention. But also, if it's dark, when it gets to be nighttime, the light of the fire can definitely stand out on a horizon. So if a ship were passing by, they might see a light burning and wonder what's going on there. And they'll be able to come and help us. So those are great ways that fire can attract attention. And also, I think a common thing you'll see online in movies, on TV shows, is actually drawing SOS in the sand or putting rocks in a formation that says SOS. So in that way, if a helicopter were passing by above us, they might see the SOS written on the beach, and we'll be able to come, or a plane. Yep. A plane would actually be probably more common. I think helicopters are more for short distance flying. So if a plane saw us, that would definitely be great. Here's another question for all of you. And let's just stick to the chat box for this one. So, and for the folks at home watching this recording, think on this for a minute as well. If we had something reflective, something that reflects light, like the glare of the sun on the ocean water, how might that help us? Just think about it for a minute. I'm seeing some other ideas of ways to attract attention, and I will come back to that. But think about that reflective object.
Mm-hmm.
It creates glare. A piece of metal, yeah, a piece of metal could be reflective. But how does that reflective glare help us on an island? How might that help us get rescued? Sasha says it's bright. Yeah. I see Hannah said it will reflect a long distance.
I was just going to point that out, teacher Trevor, and I like her word refract.
Oh, refract. I misread that.
It will refract. I like that Hannah's throwing in some science words.
Absolutely.
And George is saying people will see it shining and wonder what it is.
Yeah. All these are great ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it will not only attract the attention of planes, but it could also attract the attention of boats. So you've got 2 in 1 with that. And I did see someone bring out flares. Now, thankfully, our cruise line is well equipped with emergency equipment. So I imagine we would have some flares to help us attract attention as well. And that would create a different color, right?
Mm-hmm.
We might even be able, if we build a catapult. Well, no, wait. A flare gun could shoot a flare high up into the air
Mm-hmm.
and get attention.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Or
I
the catapult one.
I also saw an idea that your credit card has a shiny part on it. And that could be used, because I'm thinking if you actually get lost in the woods, we don't always travel with mirrors or spoons or flares. If you're a good adventurer, you would have your travel kit, your distress kit. But a credit card actually has a shiny part on it. Or I read a watch. If you start thinking what you have on you naturally, or what's always with you, if you ever get stranded, a debit card might, Sasha, you would have to have someone look and tell you if there's a reflective, shiny chip on it. But sometimes when we get stranded, we don't plan on getting lost. So you have to think creatively on what is with me. Your phone would have some reflective parts too, Ariana. So those are some good ideas.
Absolutely. All right.
Also, I'm going to say, you don't want to just think what people can see. You want to think what people can hear. And so depending where you are, if you spend the whole time yelling, you could lose your voice. So what other things, think about, don't answer in the chat box. What could you use to help people hear you? Hannah says, one thing it seems like this happens when we least expect it. Yes, so it's important to make do with what we have. And I see a couple hands I'm going to grab real quick. Catherine, would you like to tell us what you wanted to say? Hit the space bar.
So I think to attract attention by making noise is to just use items around you to make noise, like you could like clap your hands or just like hit, just like maybe if you see any rocks or anything, you could like let those rocks hit against the ground and stuff.
Excellent, Catherine. 2 thumbs up for you. I like how you came up with not just your voice, but hitting things together. I'm seeing in the chat box a megaphone, a microphone. That would be great if you knew you were going to be stranded. Let's try Sydney. Floyd. What do you think, Sydney?
You could rub sticks together.
You could rub sticks and hit sticks together. Excellent. 2 thumbs up for you. And then I'll do Brayden and then Mitchell. All right, Brayden, did I give you permission?
Unmuted. You are currently
Hold on. So sorry, I have a screen reader on. No, not you. I'm talking to my grandmother said okay, and I was like, sorry. Okay, so what I was thinking is you could use if there's like a metal pole. I have two things. So first, about the thing, you can use you can grab a stick, and then you can use or you can use your cane and bang it against like a tree, like a stick and go boom boom like with your stick.
Yes, excellent, Brayden. I'm gonna mute you again.
On. I have a question.
Okay, what's your question?
So my question is, so I'm sorry if I keep bothering you about this, but can we?
Brayden, you want to get on screen, don't you?
I'm sorry if I keep bothering you about this.
Everyone, and it would make you done.
Yeah, everyone. I want everyone to get on screen so that we can all socialize and stuff.
You know what, Brayden? I get that, and I would love to sit here longer and socialize afterwards.
Yeah,
but we have to have everyone have permission from their parents to get on screen, so we can't always do that.
Oh, I mean, like, I have permission though.
Yes, you do. And I think there's only a couple kids in the class that we actually have their permission. So we thought, since we only have 3 kids,
Ingrid home,
we're not going to get a chance to do that today, Brayden. But hopefully in the future,
yeah,
you might get that chance. But if you want to send a picture of what you've made, we would love that too.
Oh, I wanted to send you a video, like I wanted to show you something cool, but I'll send it to you in an email.
Perfect. We would love that. All right. Let me keep going. We got to get Mitchell in real quick. Mitchell, what did you think could work?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, and plus for Brayden's thing, I don't even have a camera on my computer, so I wouldn't be able to do it.
Right.
Anyway, you could try to make a huge, you could get a huge rock and throw it out into the water as far as you can and make a huge splash.
That would work, but you'd have to time it just right. But that's a great idea too. All right, I'm going to mute Brayden and Mitchell.
I can mute myself. Hold on.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. But one thing to keep in mind, I saw somebody say a whistle. If you do that, the rule is do it in groups of 3 because you want those who hear it to know it's an intentional, done on purpose sound and not just a random bird or a log falling. So you would do beep, wait a couple seconds, beep, wait a couple seconds, beep, so that they know there's a person out there making this sound and it's not just nature. Teacher Trevor, what other tips do you have?
Oh man. I mean, we've come up with so many great ideas of attracting attention. I'm having a hard time thinking of more. Do you have any more ideas, Teacher Veronica?
I did. I had one more when I was researching cell phones. On the wonderful case your cell phone does work and you get lost in the woods, they said, remember that cell phone batteries do not do well in the cold. And we are going to get off, Sasha, hopefully, as we're talking about ways to get attention. But a cell phone battery doesn't do well in the cold. So keep it close to your body to have some of your body heat. And also, you want to save that battery. So they recommend if you're lost in the woods or stuck on an island like we are, only turn it on for 5 minutes a day. And that way, even if the signal is not strong enough to get a call out, it still might have enough signal to get to the tower, which would leave an electronic trail that searchers could follow. And so you want to keep that in mind. Cell phones also don't work if it gets too hot. So you've got to be careful, depending on where you are, what happens with your cell phone. But it might help and it might not. But Teacher Trevor, should we start talking about plants that we can eat?
Sounds good to me. Although I will also add, when it comes to a phone overheating, that mostly happens if you leave your phone out in the sun, I've noticed. So if you do have it in a pocket or on your person somewhere, got it with you, I think your phone would be okay. I don't think it would overheat. But yeah, let's move on and talk about plants. So let's see. So we talked about poison ivy yesterday. And there are 3 phrases that are helpful so that you can recognize poison ivy in a forest. And those 3 phrases are leaves of 3, let it be, which is probably the most popular of the phrases. We have hairy vine, not a friend of mine, and berries white, danger in sight. Now, we've talked about this before. And, you know, Hannah, you bring up an interesting point. I was actually just going to talk about that. So you may be thinking to yourself, well, if I have a hard time seeing the poison ivy and I can't recognize those leaves, well, what does that do? What's the point? You can communicate your knowledge to other members in your group. And there may be other people who don't know how to recognize poison ivy, but you do. So you will be able to provide that knowledge, and you can help your teammates avoid that poison ivy, right? And Ingrid, that is a good point. If you are all alone on a deserted island, that would be very, very rough. I would have a very hard time being alone on a desert island. But thankfully, in our situation right now, we do have a group. So you can rely on your group members. And in most survival situations, you don't want to do things alone. It's better to have people there with you. All right. So also that last point, that last phrase, berries white, danger in sight. And that brings up another interesting thing, another bit of knowledge that you could bring to an island in the situation. Or if you were lost in the woods and you need to let your team know. So when it comes to berries and which ones are safe to eat or not, common colors, white and yellow berries are very bad. That 90% of the time, those are going to be toxic and poisonous. So it would be best to avoid those. Stinging nettles. Here, wait, I'll get back to that, Hannah, just a minute. And like we were saying, Ingrid, letting your group know about those colors, right? Because they may not know. You bring that knowledge.
Mhm.
And your expertise will help your group survive.
Mhm.
And really, in a survival situation, helping everyone survive helps you survive, right? Because everyone will bring different strengths and different knowledge, and we work together, right?
Mhm.
But yeah, so white and yellow tend to be poisonous. Red berries are more 50-50. So about half the time they can be poisonous and half the time they are not. And then lastly, blue and black berries are less likely to be poisonous, but there can still be a risk, right? And we will also be talking about ways that you can tell if a berry is safe to eat or a plant without even needing your vision necessarily. And we'll get to that in a little bit. But let's see. There was a stinging nettles. Teacher Veronica, do you have any insight on stinging nettles?
I do not have any insight into stinging nettles, sadly. But I can tell you a few more tips. You do want to avoid thorny plants. So I would just say if you're walking and you feel something poking you, try not to keep walking into it. Try to move away from it. And also, if you taste something, whether it's a plant or a berry, if it has a bitter taste or a soapy taste, spit it out. There are some natural flavors in plants that help us know it's not one you want to eat. So avoid bitter and soapy. Or if it has a smell to it. So we're not just giving you things you need to see, but smelling and tasting. If it smells like almonds, I have bad news. Do not eat it. Almond smelling berries and plants are not safe to eat unless it's an actual almond. But if it smells like an onion, and we all should know how onions smell, then it's safe to eat. So almond smelling is bad, onion smelling is good. And if you taste it and it tastes bad, like Ingrid says, throw it, spit it out. But tree nuts are actually something in the woods you can eat, like hickory nuts or pine nuts are inside of the pine cones, and even acorns are safe to eat. If you are allergic to nuts, Ingrid, I wouldn't eat them because like we talked about yesterday, you might not always have your medicine with you when an emergency happens. It was said earlier, emergencies like this happen when you're least expecting it. So you might not travel with a day's supply of your medicine or a week's supply. So we're trying to think through worst case scenarios but also you only need to take a small bite. Don't go eating all of the plant or all of the berries right away, because you can even eat parts of the tree or the plant, like a cattail. Those are long, thin stems with, at the top of the stem is a bushy part. It feels soft and it often grows around ponds and lakes. And you can eat the roots. You could use the bushy, soft part that kind of feels like a cattail to start your fire or to keep your fire going. And then the root of that, you could roast tubers, Mitchell, yes. You can roast in the fire and eat that. But Teacher Trevor, you have an excellent slide, number 82. If we want to bring that up.
Absolutely.
So again, we're talking about not just ways you can see, but also touch and smell. Plants don't really make sounds for us to listen to, and taste. So before you just start eating the plant, here's a couple tips. 1, give it a strong sniff. Smell it. Because depending on the part of the plant, don't just think the green part that's out of the ground or the leaves. Think of the roots. And then after you smell it, and it smells okay, or like onions, then hold that part of the plant you want to eat into your elbow, inside your elbow, in the middle, or at your wrist, and hold it there for a few minutes. If you start to itch or get a rash or bumps, if you start to not feel good in that area, don't eat it. It could be allergies. It could be the plant's way of signaling to your body it's not safe to eat. But if you wait 15 minutes, or it could burn. If you wait 15 minutes and nothing happens, then kiss the plant with your lips. Again, if you feel stinging, itching, burning, something doesn't seem right, don't eat it. But if it seems okay, then take a tiny, small, pea-sized, or like a piece of corn-sized bite. And again, wait, see if you have the itching, the bumps or burning, or if it makes you throw up, stop eating it. All of these are ways your body and the plant work together to signal if it's dangerous. All right, Teacher Trevor, thank you for showing us that.
George?
Do you have more you want to add to this, Teacher Trevor?
I guess I would reiterate what you already said, Teacher Veronica, in that different parts of the plant may have different reactions, right? So just because it's safe to eat the roots of one plant may not mean, or doesn't mean, that the rest is safe to eat. You still need to be careful and do the test every time, just to be sure. But I guess that's what I would say in addition.
All right, they're all asking, how do we do this without it hurting you? You might get a little hurt. You might get a small patch on your skin that stings or itches, but it's better to have a small part on your body that's uncomfortable than your whole body. And if you're in a survival situation, we're trying to look for ways to add food and calories. And Mitchell does have something to help with stinging nettles. So Mitchell, yes, we will give you permission to talk and you can tell us.
Just making sure. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. For stinging nettle, you might not know this, but it's really similar to mint, and mint has a square stem. And
Okay.
if it has a square stem, you'd have to tell if it's mint or stinging nettle. And if it's stinging nettle, it's going to sting you. So just stay away from plants that have a square stem to be sure. Because one, you can eat mint, but you don't have to. So just you'd have to figure out if it's stinging nettle or mint, which is they're really similar. And they both have a square stem. And I believe mint has small leaves. I don't remember, but I went up to Camp Big Springs and people got stung by stinging nettle a lot.
Oh.
It was hilarious. It wasn't hilarious, but it was kind of funny.
Same
Right.
thing.
Mitchell, that's super helpful because again, you're bringing in the smell. If you smell something like mint and then you took it to the next step with feeling, if it feels like a square stem. And Ingrid, what if it's so bad you need the hospital? Well, that's part of why we're also working on getting rescued. Hopefully you would get rescued and found before the allergic reaction or the poisonous food you consumed had a bad reaction.
Yeah.
And you're right. Some people don't get saved, but knowledge helps you survive longer.
Knowledge is power.
Yes, it is. Thank you, Mitchell. And so, Teacher Trevor, you also have some hazards to avoid on slide 86.
Currently unmuted.
Or 83. I'm going to mute Mitchell.
All right, there we go.
So Teacher Trevor and I have both lived in Michigan where ticks is a problem. And Teacher Trevor, do you have any helpful hints or ideas with ticks?
Absolutely. So whenever you're walking through tall grasses or through unfamiliar kind of wild areas, and that would probably be the case on our deserted island, even if it's hot, wearing longer pants can really help keep ticks from. So in case we don't know, everyone here, what a tick does is if it gets in contact with your skin, it tends to burrow in and dig its head into your skin, which is not good, right?
Mm-hmm.
So wearing long pants can help with that. That way, less of a chance of a tick getting to skin sooner. And then at the end of the day, or after you're done going through these tall grasses or anything like that, you can brush off as much of your body as you can, and rely on friends to check. I know that I usually have friends check me and I check them just in case I missed a tick. So that's a great point too, you know? What else would you have to add, Teacher Veronica?
I would have to add that even looking sometimes for a tick, because they can be so tiny, it's also helpful if you could bathe. Get in the water to rinse off, because sometimes we've had ticks on us and they're as small as a piece of pepper or peppercorn. They are teeny tiny little insects oftentimes. And then Teacher Trevor, do you want to talk about the roots? You also have a picture of roots up.
Yeah. So for some of us where walking through grass can be a challenge with our canes, it's also important to know that with roots that grow from big trees, these roots can come out of the ground, and you'll have to be very careful stepping around them or over them. I know for myself, where I grew up, there were a lot of walking trails through forests that I loved, but you had to be very careful about tripping on these roots. I myself have tripped on a number of roots. So if only to prevent you getting injured, because again, like we've said, a hospital is not on the island. So we want to do as much as we can being cautious to prevent injury or sickness. So even something as simple as a tree root could pose dangerous. So being extra careful in that way. What are some other? Oh, yeah.
I was going to say, should we come out of the slide and let some of the kids tell us using their voices what they built this week?
That's a great idea. Yeah.
All right. Because I'm finding some of you have some interesting facts and knowledge that you can share. And a cottonmouth, Hannah, is in the group chat. Somebody brought up cottonmouths, and that's a snake. So if you want to tell us, raise your hand, what you've built this week.
I'm currently on mute.
Let's start. Sydney, Floyd, we'll start with you.
I have built the bridge, the waterproof container, the catapults, and the hut.
Excellent. Good job. We would love it if you would send pictures so we could see those.
Currently unmuted.
All right.
Zoom us has new window.
All right, Brayden, let's wait next time and we'll
Sorry.
call on you.
I just learned how to do this, so.
Okay,
I'm
why don't
testing
you,
it.
To everyone. Sorry, I didn't build anything this week.
Brayden, can you turn off your screen reader before we start hearing from you? All right, Brayden, I'll give you permission to unmute. Let's see. And now it's not gonna. All right, let's try Catherine.
So I built the bridge and the waterproof container, the hut, and the catapult.
Excellent. Good job. We would love to see pictures of that too. All right, how about Ingrid?
I built the catapult.
Excellent. Ingrid, did you shoot anything with the catapult?
Yes.
What did you shoot?
Snap cubes.
Ooh.
I built my catapult out of snap cubes and used a rubber band to but so it's able to still move, but not fully connected, so it can still go up.
Excellent. Good job. 2 thumbs up. All right, Mitchell.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
we can.
I'm just going to explain it for everybody because some people might be blind and want to know. I built the hut out of cardboard and it was, cool. It has an opening and closing door. And then I built the bridge out of, I think it was more cardboard and tape and stuff. And then my mom also built a bridge out of the Geometra stuff.
Excellent.
Then we built the waterproof container out of an apple juice bottle and some other things. And then the catapult had rubber bands and some other things too. And we built it this morning because yesterday we just didn't because we were doing stuff. And then today we did it. And then we shot a marshmallow. Well, my mom shot a marshmallow actually during the Zoom today. So
nice.
Yeah, and I built everything basically. It's just fun to do things like this.
Good. Thank you,
And
Mitchell.
for Hannah, the cottonmouth, or it's like a venomous snake that you don't want to come across. Same with water moccasins or copperheads. So
correct.
I don't know if you have
Mitchell,
those.
I want to get stranded with you in the woods or on an island sometime, just so you know.
Yeah, same.
Yes.
I want to
All
do it
right.
with Trevor too, because you know stuff.
Yes. All right. Thank you, Mitchell. All right. Let's try Catherine and then Brayden. Catherine, can you, let's see. There.
So yeah, I built the bridge that yeah. I thought I already shared.
Oh, I was wondering. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Catherine. All right. Brayden, I'll try you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I wanted like tell you like what I did and something else. I'll tell you what I did first. So first I did the what was it, the hut, and then we did the blow dryer thing like you said, and then we like sent it a picture, right? Then we made a what was the second one again? The waterproof container, or
yes.
So we made the waterproof container out of a plastic. At first, I thought we could use a plastic container, and then we held it underwater for 30 seconds, and it leaked through. But then I'm like, we could use a plastic bag, and it worked.
Excellent, good job.
And the third thing I did was I did the bridge, which is collapsed now because Karen moved it over, and it collapsed.
That happens. All right, thank you, Brayden. I want to try to get a few more in. Let's try Natalie George. We haven't heard from you. Let's see, Natalie.
Okay, try.
So first I built the water, well, I made the hut and I made the bridge, but the bridge kind of fell apart.
Oh no, but good job. Excellent. All right, let me try. Let's see, we haven't heard from Ariana Luders.
Oh. I built a catapult, hut, and bridge.
Good job. Excellent. All right, I'm gonna have to stop taking those because we're running out of time. And Teacher Trevor, do you want to talk about our ending and what happens?
Yeah. So, I think I do hear some helicopter chopping in the horizon.
Yay!
And I think I do see a boat on the horizon. Yeah, I hear a plane. I think everyone's coming all at once. But yeah, I think we are going to get off this island safe and sound. But we will also want to I think I did this a little bit out of order. For an extension activity for after class, if you guys want to, work on building a raft. So a raft made out of materials that can float, right? So you wouldn't want to make it out of heavy metal or anything like that, or even really, a glass. You would want to work with wood, right? Or yeah, Mitchell's got it. And yeah, cardboard. Although keep in mind that cardboard is going to soak through a lot easier than wood. So, while it would work in, for an example, it may not be good for long distance, right? So let's see. Do we have our email shared, Teacher Veronica?
I'm not sure. I'm hoping someone in the background can send the emails.
Yeah.
But Ingrid, we'll work on that because if you send it to APH, then we can see it from there. Perfect. We would love to see those photos.
Yeah.
And yes, we would love to continue to chat after class, but we're not able to do that because there's other things that have to happen. But I see Jeff popping up, so I want to say goodbye. I've enjoyed this week getting to know you all, and I've had fun being stranded on the island and getting rescued.
Not fun being stranded, but fun getting saved.
True.
Hi.
I have a question.
Just a minute. We need to get some things taken care of.
Okay.
I will also say goodbye and thank you all
Bye,
for the
Trevor.
wonderful week. Bye, everyone. Yeah, this was a lot of fun.
Thank you, everybody. This has been a great week. I think we got a lot of involvement this last day. It's great to see folks for really getting charged with all of this and lots of great information and questions coming out. So would love to thank you, Teacher Veronica and Teacher Trevor, again, for a great week of learning. And thank you to everyone who's been participating. I'm going to go ahead and pause our recording.